We are KB and Jasmine, and welcome to Beyond the Silver Screen.
Today, we're going to tackle some heavy, heavy stuff. Exile, art as a weapon for change, and this search for like a new cinematic language.
Ooh, that sounds intense.
It is. We're talking about the work of Ritwik Ghatak, an Indian film director who just went headfirst into these themes.
I'm excited. His films are so powerful, and they still resonate, even decades later.
Yeah, it's kind of wild how relevant they feel, given like all the stuff happening in the world right now.
Absolutely. It's not just history. It's about these universal, like, human experiences, right? Those things that just cut across, time and cultures.
Okay, so let's start with Exile. Ghatak actually witnessed firsthand the partition of India.
Right. Incredibly traumatic.
Millions of people uprooted. So how did this event like actually shape his films? And how did he go beyond just showing, physical displacement?
Well, he was deeply marked by it, the psychological and emotional scars. I mean, imagine, right? Imagine being forced from your home, your community, your whole world, and then being like thrust into this completely new and often hostile environment.
Yeah.
That sense of law, disorientation, and then trying to rebuild like who you even are. That just permeates all of his work.
It's heavy stuff. And he uses some like really powerful metaphors to get that across, right? I remember reading about this recurring character, this dumb boy that shows up in a lot of his films.
Yes, the dumb boy. It's such a poignant symbol. It's the silenced refugee experience. He's almost giving a voice to the voiceless through this silence, right?
It's
because when you're displaced, you often lose, not just your home, you lose your voice, your ability to even tell your story.
Yeah, you're right. And it makes you think, who are the dumb boys in our own communities? Who are we not listening to?
Exactly. And it's not just, through characters. He uses these cinematic techniques too to visually represent, that feeling of exile. Like he explores this concept of myopia characters with like blurry vision. It's a symbol of like a society blindness, to the suffering of refugees.
Oh, so there's this literal inability to see clearly, but it's also this like metaphor for a lack of empathy, a lack of like understanding.
Exactly. He's kind of suggesting that we might all be a little myopic when it comes to recognizing the pain and struggles of those around us,
Yeah. And then there's the way he uses language.
Oh, yes, language.
I was really struck by how he puts these different dialects right next to each other in his films.
That's a great observation. It's not just stylistic, right? It's highlighting the fragmentation and alienation caused by exile. The different dialects, they represent these different worlds, and the characters are always, navigating those linguistic barriers.
It makes you like feel that sense of being an outsider, of not quite belonging. It's really effective. And yet, even with all this darkness, there's this resilience in his films, this underlying current of hope.
Right. He never loses sight of that. The human spirit's ability to endure, to go through unimaginable hardship and come out the other side. Think about, those scenes with the sailors clinging to their like wrecked boats, constantly repairing them, always looking to the next journey.
Yeah.
It's like he's tapping into this primal, this human need to survive, to rebuild, to keep going, even when all hope seems lost.
It's really powerful stuff. And for Ghatak, art wasn't just a form of expression. It was a weapon for change.
Absolutely.
So he wasn't just trying to entertain or just provoke thought. He really believed that art could be used to fight injustice, to fight oppression.
He felt this strong responsibility to use his platform, as a filmmaker to challenge the status quo. And this is where his involvement with the Indian People's Theater Association, or IPTA, comes in.
Right. From what I understand, this was a movement that wanted to create art for the masses, using like folk traditions to reach a wider audience.
Yes, exactly. They believed that art shouldn't be, confined to elite circles, that it should be accessible to everyone. And this idea really resonated with Ghatak.
But he wasn't afraid to criticize the movement either, right? It seems like he had some issues with how politics could sometimes like interfere with artistic expression.
He was a strong advocate for creative autonomy. He saw how political maneuvering, even within movements that shared his ideas, could stifle, true artistic vision.
It's interesting that that tension between his political beliefs and his artistic integrity. It suggests that he was constantly wrestling with these big questions like what is the role of art in society? What responsibility does an artist have?
Absolutely. And he didn't shy away from exploring those questions in his films. He wasn't afraid to push boundaries, to challenge conventions, to even, risk alienating audiences in this pursuit of a new cinematic language that could effectively convey his ideas and emotions.
Yeah, it's like he's constantly walking this tightrope between like his passion for social change and then this need to, stay true to his artistic vision.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's that tension, right, that makes his work so interesting. You can just feel that struggle in his films, that push and pull between the personal and the political. And it's fascinating how he uses like his characters to kind of explore that too.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like you mentioned earlier, he often features like artists in his films.
Right, right.
And it's more than just showing, the creative process. It's using these artist characters as a way to examine like artistic expression itself. The compromises they face, the challenges of balancing your personal vision with this sense of like responsibility to society.
Yeah, so it's almost like he's saying that being an artist, especially, in a society that's going through so much change, it's not just about creating beautiful things. It's about wrestling with these big questions about, like, what role does art play in the world?
Exactly. And he also uses these artist figures to kind of critique, these power structures, both within the art world and in society as a whole. He's constantly questioning, like, who gets to decide, what good art is, who has the power to promote or silence certain voices, and how can art be used to either reinforce or challenge, the status quo.
Yeah, that's such a great point, and it kind of makes me think about his complicated relationship with the IPTA and with the Communist Party of India.
Oh, right.
Like he was drawn to their ideals, but he also saw, the dangers of ideology becoming too rigid, too controlling.
Absolutely. He believed that true art had to come from a place of genuine personal experience, that it couldn't be dictated by some kind of, external force, whether it was a political party or even the commercial market. He saw that those forces could actually, corrupt art, turn it into propaganda rather than a genuine expression of the human spirit.
Yeah, it's a struggle, that I think a lot of artists can relate to, like that pressure to conform to certain expectations or to cater to the market. How do you stay true to yourself and your vision while also like navigating the realities of the world?
It's a constant balancing act. And Ghatak, he captures that beautifully in his films. He shows us that being an artist isn't about isolating yourself from the world. It's about engaging with it, deeply, wrestling with its complexities and trying to make sense of it all through your art.
That's really well said. And speaking of making sense of things, one thing that really struck me about Ghatak's work is just how masterfully he uses like symbolism and metaphors.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just there for decoration. It's adding these layers of meaning to the story. It's inviting the viewer to think more deeply about what they're seeing.
He's creating a whole other language, right, within his films, one that operates on this subconscious level and evokes this visceral response from the viewer. Like, you mentioned the dumb boy earlier. That's such a powerful example of how he uses like a symbol to embody an entire experience. That voicelessness of the refugee.
Mm-hmm.
It's so impactful.
Are there any other examples like of symbols or metaphors that really jump out at you?
Well, there's the recurring image of the child that often represents like hope and the possibility of renewal, even in the face of like devastation. The river is another powerful motif representing, both division and connection, the constant flow of time and the journals that we all take.
Oh yeah. And that idea of blindness or myopia, both, literal and metaphorical, it keeps coming up. It's like he's saying, look closer, pay attention. There's more here than meets the eye.
Exactly, exactly. He's challenging us to see beyond the surface, to acknowledge the complexities of the world, and to confront our own blind spots. And then there's, how he uses sound. It's so interesting. I noticed that he often puts like sounds and images together in this way that creates this jarring, unsettling effect.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like he's deliberately trying to kind of disrupt our expectations and make us pay attention, to see things from a different perspective. It's brilliant, really. By placing those contrasting sounds and images side by side, he creates this sense of dissonance, and it forces us to confront the complexities of the situation. It's like he's saying that the world isn't always harmonious, and sometimes we need to be like shaken out of our complacency to really see what's going on.
That's so true. It's fascinating to think about how he developed his cinematic language, all these different techniques that he uses to convey, his ideas and emotions. And you mentioned the influence of the Soviet school of filmmaking, but I'm curious, like what other inspirations, might he have drawn from?
He was a true student of art and culture, constantly absorbing influences from literature, music, theater, even traditional folk art. He was just fascinated by the way that different art forms could create meaning, could evoke emotion. And he wasn't afraid to experiment with borrowing techniques from other disciplines and adapting them to cinema.
Yeah, he seems to have had this incredibly open mind, always searching for new ways to tell stories and to connect with his audience. And I'm thinking specifically about his use of folk traditions.
Oh,
It
yeah.
wasn't just like a superficial nod to his cultural heritage. It was a way of grounding his films in the experiences of ordinary people, making them feel authentic and relatable.
Yeah, he had this deep respect for folk traditions, and he saw them as a vital source of creative inspiration. He believed that by incorporating those folk elements into his films, he could create a cinematic language that was both authentic and accessible to a wider audience. It wasn't about being elitist or highbrow. It was about connecting with people on a deeper level.
And that brings us to the role of music in his films. It's never just like background noise. It's often a central character in the story. It's driving the emotional arc, deepening our understanding of the characters and their world.
It's incredibly evocative, his use of music. He so carefully selects like each piece to create a specific mood or atmosphere. Sometimes, using it to bridge the gap between different time periods or locations, or to highlight the interconnectedness of human experience. It's like he's weaving this tapestry of sound and image, and each element is just, meticulously chosen to contribute to the overall impact.
Yeah, I remember being particularly moved by the use of music in his film Subraneka, which translates to the Golden Line. The recurring motif of the river, both visually and musically, is just it's so haunting and beautiful. It really captures like the essence of the refugee experience. This constant sense of movement, of being uprooted, of searching for a place to call home.
And the way he films the river, those long flowing shots, the way the camera kind of lingers on the water, almost as if it's like a living, breathing character in the film. It's both, mesmerizing and heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's a film that stays with you. It makes you think about the fragility of life, the resilience of the human spirit, and that enduring power of hope, even in the face of such immense loss.
It's a testament to his ability to capture, the complexities of the human experience, to make us feel deeply, to think critically, and to question everything we thought we knew about the world. He never gives us easy answers. He leaves us, grappling with these challenging questions about identity, belonging, and the search for meaning in a world that often feels fractured and uncertain.
Yeah, he's challenging us to look beyond the surface, to see the world through different eyes, and to embrace the messy, complicated beauty of it all. It's really interesting how Ghatak brings his political beliefs into his work. Like, it's not just about, pretty pictures or telling a good story. It's about, like, really engaging with the social and political realities of his time, and his engagement with Marxism, for example. It seems particularly, like, complex.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He's clearly drawn to these ideals of social justice, but at the same time, he's also wary of, its potential to stifle individual expression.
Yeah, for sure. His relationship with Marxism and the Communist Party of India, it was a real journey. I mean, in his early years, he was so involved with the IPTA, which, as we said, was closely tied to the Communist Party, and he really did see art as this powerful tool for, social change. He believed in the potential for a revolutionary transformation of society.
Right. But as he, kind of matured as an artist and as a thinker, he became more disillusioned with the party's rigid ideology, right?
Yeah, he started to see the limitation of any kind of ideology that tried to impose like a single fixed perspective on the world. And he felt that true art, couldn't be dictated by any political agenda, no matter how well intentioned it was.
Hmm.
He believed that artists needed the freedom to explore their own visions, their own ideas, even if those ideas, challenged the prevailing dogma.
That's so interesting, and it kind of makes me think about his critique of nationalism too.
Oh, right.
I mean, given the historical context, the partition and everything, you might expect him to embrace nationalism as this kind of like unifying force, but he actually saw it as something that could lead to more division, to more conflict.
Yeah, he argued that true liberation, it couldn't be achieved through, these nationalist movements that were often based on exclusion and the othering of certain groups. He was much more interested in building solidarity across, national boundaries, emphasizing the common struggles of all oppressed people, regardless of their nationality or ethnicity.
Yeah, that's a perspective that feels incredibly relevant. Like even today, with the rise of nationalist movements, all over the world.
Oh, for sure.
It's like you're saying, look, let's look beyond these artificial borders and focus on what unites us as human beings.
Exactly. He's urging us to see the bigger picture, right? To recognize our shared humanity and to work together to create a more just and equitable world for everyone. And this ties back to, how he uses the refugee experience in his films. It's not just about telling the specific stories of those who are displaced by the partition. It's about exploring those universal themes of exile and belonging that resonate with people from all walks of life.
Yeah, you're right. It's like he's saying that in a sense we're all refugees. you know, constantly searching for a place to call home, whether it's a physical location or a community or even, like a sense of inner peace.
Right. He's tapping into that deep human need for connection, for belonging, for a sense of rootedness in a world that can often feel, chaotic and uncertain. And he doesn't shy away from exploring the psychological and emotional impact of that search. His films, they delve into the trauma, the loss, the confusion, the struggle to rebuild a sense of identity in a new and unfamiliar world.
It's really powerful stuff, and it makes me think about his use of that myopia motif. Again,
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
not just about like, physical blindness, right? It's about the ways in which trauma and grief and displacement can kind of cloud our vision, make it hard to see the world clearly or to connect with others.
And it's also this powerful commentary on the ways in which society can can be blind to the suffering of those who are, different or marginalized. He's challenging us to open our eyes, to look beyond the surface, and to recognize the shared humanity in all of us.
Yeah, what's so inspiring about Ghatak is that he doesn't just present these complex issues. He forces us to confront them, to grapple with them, and to think critically about our own role in creating a more just and compassionate world. His films, they're a call to action. They're a reminder that we all have a responsibility to make a difference.
He was fearless in his pursuit of truth and justice, and he never let go of his belief in the power of art to transform individuals and society. His films are a testament to that power, and they continue to inspire us and challenge us. Even today, they remind us that even in the darkest of times, art can be a source of light, a catalyst for change, and a way of finding meaning and connection in a world that often feels, fragmented and divided.
Well, I think we've only just scratched the surface of Ritwik Ghatak's, rich and complex cinematic world, but I hope this deep dive has given you like a taste of his genius and inspired you to explore his films further. He was a true visionary, a master storyteller, and just a fearless advocate for social justice.
He really was. He left behind a legacy that continues to inspire us, to challenge us, and to urge us to look deeper, to think critically, and to use our own voices to fight for a better world.
Absolutely. Well, until next time, keep diving deep and keep exploring the fascinating world of ideas that shape our understanding of ourselves and the world around us.